Okay, I'll call the Dover Select Board meeting to order at 6:30 on Tuesday, November 15th, 2022. The first thing we're going to do, and this is before we have public comments, is enter into a road naming hearing. So I'd like to have a motion to go into the road naming hearing.
I make a motion, we go into the road naming hearing.
You just fucking shoot them.
Just say yes. Second.
Yes. Yes.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, and I think Michelle Mann will be talking to us about the road naming hearing.
Yes, that's right.
Okay,
So we have a road that goes off Edwards Village to the Bear Paw condos. There was originally one building. Now there's two, and there's a proposal for a third, so it needs to have its name. The owner of the development proposed Junior's Way, and the owners of 6A and B have not indicated that they're averse to that. So that's what we would like to submit.
anybody have any questions about naming of the road Junior's Way? Hearing nothing. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I
Make a motion to come out of the road naming hearing.
make a motion. We come out of road naming.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So now we're gonna move into our regular meeting. Public comments. So I hear that there's another executive session required for police personnel.
Yes,
So we will put that on the agenda as well, after Travis.
I think I'm gonna go first. Go.
Okay, I know, but Travis is gonna be out tonight potentially.
Well,
Anyway,
Maybe not.
all right, you guys come to that decision, then fine. Anything else with public comments this evening, Randy?
Yes, so just so you guys know, Wyndham County Safe Place is an organization in Brattleboro that does work to keep our community safe, as well does the Windsor County's The Family Place. These organizations are where mainly women and children go to tell their story in a safe place, what has happened to them, i.e. like domestic or sexual assault. These organizations help these citizens with whatever service they need, to include helping them through any type of interviews and through any criminal investigations if there is one. These two organizations are having a fundraising campaign to see which one can raise the most money. The campaign is called Let It Grow, which is a twist to the No Shave November. So I ask that anybody here go to the website that is givebutter.com/letitgrow. You will see a list of departments there. Obviously, you should click on the Dover PD department. When you do that, you'll see a list of team members, which are some of the Dover officers. Like you could see Rebecca's name under my picture. So then you would click on that, on the team member, and then donate any amount. This campaign goes until the end of November, and it's for a great cause. So I'd like you to go to givebutter.com/letitgrow, click on Dover, click on any of the team members that you see there, and donate. It can be as little as $5, $20, you can go as high as you want. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. What else? Any other public comments? I don't see anybody on Zoom, do you?
nobody.
Okay, we have a fairly long agenda, so we'll just keep moving and next, we're gonna move to emergency management, and we need to adopt the Dover Local Hazard Mitigation Plan. Rich, do you want to talk anything about this?
No, we spent a lot of time on it. Travis and I went through the whole list of stuff from last one. Got it all good and, you know, we got a grant for it, so William Regional List helped us a lot with it. And I think it's all set to get adopted. I would recommend that the select board, if you guys are gonna be around for a little bit, you should really read the comments on the reviewers, because, you know, in the future, they're gonna keep making it more and more difficult to complete this form. And,
I thought the comments were quite positive and very, looked good for the town of Dover.
well, it did, but the stuff they're gonna request us to do in the future,
Mhm,
if you look at them, it's not gonna be a lot of fun.
okay,
And it's gonna be a lot of work.
as always.
Yeah. Bureaucrats keep creating more bureaucracy. They're going
It's their problem. All right, so, any questions about, the adoption of the local hazard mitigation plan? Seeing none, I would like to,
I make a
Entertain a
motion that
motion?
that we adopt the local hazard mitigation plan.
Second.
any other comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Here, it's this local, this was part of the agenda. All in favor? So,
Aye.
okay,
All in favor.
all in favor.
Is there more than a page to sign?
No, the form, you need a pen?
No.
Okay, can you date that on the 15th as well? All right, next we're gonna move to unfinished,
So I just wanted to
oh, sorry,
got Randy's comfortable chair. So in honor of what we just read, I would take any donations towards that, to give up my chair, whoever we can log to like that.
aren't you leaving yet?
I'm like, pushing off the chair and
Okay. And no bidders tonight. Unfinished business, we have, appoint Peter MacDonald as the planning commission member. So, we had a letter from Peter requesting to become a full member of the planning commission, and I assume the planning commission is happy with this appointment. Any discussion about appointing Peter MacDonald to the planning commission?
Well, we're moving him up from an alternate.
Right,
Right.
so I'm just,
So I make a motion that we appoint Peter McDonald to a full member of the Dover Planning Commission.
Second.
any comments? Peter, do you want to say anything? I see you're with us.
As soon as I can figure out how to unmute,
You did.
I'm happy to step up. We've been working very hard on the town plan and I'm looking forward to finishing it.
Good job. So, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Congratulations, Peter. You're now a full board member of the planning commission.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for joining.
yes, thank you.
Yes. Next, we're going to look at the possible appointment of a planning commission alternate by the name of Jack Conway, who also sent us a letter.
He did, he was gonna be on too, but he thought maybe it was gonna be a little later then. Maybe quicker then.
Did you get to review this, Becky?
I did.
Mhm.
I've served with him on DRB.
Yep. Okay,
And I think we were all in favor of that.
okay. Well, if he shows up, we'll say hi to him later. So does someone want to make a motion?
I make a motion that we appoint Jack Conway to the alternate position for the Planning Commission. Second.
Second.
Sorry, Scott got that one.
Oh, good.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 All right. Next, we need to schedule the budget meetings that are coming up in December. So hopefully everybody looked at their calendars. We're gonna need, the first meeting will be to meet with department heads to discuss budgets. Then we're gonna need at least, I'm guessing, at least 2 other meetings. So we should at least get 2 of them set in stone tonight. There is no Dan out there. So it's between the 4 of us what we decide to set. So the first full week of December, can we meet?
Ninth. Do we want to do it on a Friday?
We can do them Fridays, we could do them Thursday afternoons, we could do them Monday afternoons, we can do them Tuesday does not work for me at all. Wednesday morning doesn't work for me at all. And Wednesday.
The
What?
first week of December, I am away for the week working out of town tour guiding, so I am not available all that week.
So the 5th through the 9th, that midweek,
Correct.
and we have a board meeting on the 6th.
I will be able to make the board meeting because it's in the evening. So I'll be able to be at the board meeting just like I am now in Tennessee at this meeting.
Okay. So do you want to be involved in the department? Because we cannot really wait. We're getting quite late into the year. Do you want to be at the meeting? Do you?
I
wanna
may
be-
be able to call into the meeting. You don't have to Zoom it, but if I can call in, if Scott's there or something on the phone and listen in, that'd be great. Just don't know where I'll be at the time of the actual meeting. So just decide between the three when you want to do it.
And then, how about the rest of the month, Joe? Can you tell us if you got other, obviously, we're not gonna do it right around the holidays, but, we need to do one the next week, the week of the 12th, I'm sure.
Yeah, the beginning of the week is better for me
Okay,
that week.
okay. Scott, I know your schedule is,
Yes, we can.
so
Try to
do-
move things around, but earlier on, are we saying like a Friday morning?
we could do Friday morning.
Except for Dan.
Well, Dan isn't here to speak about it, and so I don't, it's hard for us to decide to make those decisions without him. I'd be fine going Friday morning, starting at, say, early. 8 or 8:30. You know, it means you, huh?
On the
Yes.
On the first time with the department heads, I think we need to go before the 9th. We don't have a lot of time.
ninth, on the
Second,
Joe, are you here on the second?
no, he's not.
He said that.
Well, maybe he is.
Joe?
Friday the 2nd of December.
Yes,
As of right now, I am.
okay,
No, yeah, if it's in the morning,
yes,
it's gonna
it
be in
is.
the morning. Yeah, if
So
I can go out at like
uh,
noon.
Is 8:30 better for everybody?
That's
Yep,
fine.
perfect.
8:30, the 2nd.
Are we gonna
Does
do
that work
that?
for you? Jan- No, why? Okay, so can
Can you do Thursday?
we do it Thursday afternoon?
The first,
Yeah.
Yes,
Like 1?
that would work for me.
as far as I can tell,
How's
I
that for
can
you?
do it.
Not as good.
Yes, if it's good for everyone else, I'll just make it happen, yeah.
So Jeanette's not gonna be here, we kind of need her.
Is later than 1 better for you? Like if we did it at 2? Or does it not make a difference?
I have stuff in my calendar, but I kind of. Figure stuff out, so it doesn't really matter, I'll make it happen, it's fine.
Okay,
so let's
does
do
that
that.
work for you, Jeanette?
Yeah,
But
I
we,
definitely can't do the second.
but we need you.
So is there another day that week, the 30th or the 29th? Or you said Tuesdays and Wednesdays are not good for you?
Wednesday mornings, Wednesday afternoons, I can.
Could we start at 12 on that Thursday?
Well, how about Wednesday? Is that the 30th? Is that any better for you?
Yeah,
That could be better. Mhm.
does that work for you, Jeanette?
Yes.
Okay, can we start at 1 on Wednesday, the 30th? How about you, Joe?
As far as I can tell, I wasn't planning on doing November 30th, but I guess I can. I know I have a dentist appointment at some point that time. I'd have to look on my schedule, but I think it should be fine.
Okay, so we're gonna put that out Wednesday, the 30th at 1, and then we need another one the next week.
Yes.
What's your next week look like? God,
So just come around
Sarah,
As far as I know, I'm open.
there. Could we do that one on Thursday?
Thursday afternoon?
Yes.
8th?
Yeah, at 1? Thursday at the 8th at 1. And then we'll go from there.
I won't be there on Thursday at 1 more than
I
likely,
know.
but I'll try to hop in.
Okay,
Where's town?
Powers of the phone.
No, we're here.
We're here.
We're here. So, and so on the 30th, department heads will have scheduled slots to come in. And some departments need longer than others, obviously. You know, some only need 5 or 10 minutes, others need half an hour or 20. All right, it's a place to start. Okay.
We should front load the short ones. Front load the short ones, you done earliest.
Or not, because then you might as well hit the hard ones first, right?
Well, but then the other people might be waiting and then not knowing when they're gonna.
Well, we'll have a schedule, and that puts out a schedule.
Okay.
Okay, all right, good, we've got some budget meetings set. Next, we're gonna discuss the health insurance plan. Did everybody see the information that Jeanette sent over to us? This helped a lot so that we could see where we expended our HRA money. This year through the 7th of November, we had expended 53% of the money that we had, the 50% of the money that we had put aside. So, and we only have another month and a half basically left. That's important. The previous year, we'd only spent 38% year for the whole year. Year before was 38, and the year before that was 45. So we're running between that, basically 40 and now 50, mid 50s. But knowing that, I don't know how you guys feel, but I'm prepared to go with the silver reflective again this year.
Yes.
And hedge our bets again that we're not gonna expend all that money and we can save some.
Second.
Okay. And there was no motion, but thank you for the second. No, I'm just giving my opinion that that piece of the puzzle really told me that we're better off trying to save on the back that versus just paying out premiums and they're gone.
100%, even if we got burned 1 year, you got already done so well for so long.
Sarah?
100%.
I'm sorry.
It's comments on the plan. Okay,
So we'll make a motion, say, we have the whole, okay.
that's last year. We need to put in some new figures.
Um,
No.
No, those are the ones you
updated them?
updated. Okay, this is on a motion by Sarah Shippey.
right.
Oh, well, yeah.
It says the 23-24 fiscal year
667,
15,
15.
yeah, okay. So those are the new ones.
34,
and 1,503,000 out of pocket max.
50, yeah, if they
Yeah.
continue to go. that
Okay,
way.
so I move that we agree to fund the employee health care plan for 23-24 fiscal year with Blue Cross Blue Shield Silver Standard Reflective Plan. Premiums in the amount of $667.15 per month for singles. 2-person at $1,334.30 per month, adult and children at $1,287.60 per month. Family at $1,874.69 per month with HRA funding in the amount of $9,000 for singles and $18,000 for all others, while leaving the out-of-pocket maximum at $1,500 for singles and $3,000 for all others.
Second.
Any discussion? No complaints from the employees?
Thank you very much.
No, thank you.
All in favor? Aye. All right, that's done.
Aye.
All right, way to go, Joe. Good.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you, Andy, for being there. All right, next we're gonna discuss the authorization to sign the agreement with SLR for the scoping study. So,
Thank you, the latest. It
Mhm.
did go to Stephen. His comments were answered by the folks at SLR and
so his last comment was something about the liability.
yeah, that was that section 16.
Mhm.
That he originally wanted stricken from the agreement.
Mhm.
But as another favor, now I think we worded it slightly. But he said if you were good with it, he was good with it, Chris.
Limit of liability. The the entire liability of SLR and SLR's agents, representatives and employees shall be limited to $50,000 or the total amount actually paid to SLR by the client for services performed under the LOA pursuant to which the claim arose, whichever is lower. I don't know, that doesn't mean a lot to me. I don't know, so. All right, does anybody have any other questions? So now are we supposed to sign in two places here?
I think
On this? And on this?
there's the letter of authorization, yes, there's signatures from both.
Okay,
Either you can authorize me to sign it. Or you can, the whole board can sign it, totally up to you.
well, I'll make a motion to allow Jeanette Eckert to sign the SLR agreement for the scoping study. Second.
Second.
Beat ya.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Joe?
Just say aye, Joe.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, I think he's saying aye.
Okay.
All right, moving on to new business. We have the SOVTA. Thanks, Joe.
Yes.
We have SOVTA permission to work in town forest without landowner agreement. All right, maybe, is Eric here tonight? Andy's here. Do you
Eric's
guys
here.
know if any work has been done up in the town forest?
Well, Tim Shannon.
I know they're there. But these guys were talking about getting some work done. Has anything
Oh.
been done?
No work
So,
has been done in the town forest.
Okay,
Who was that?
Well,
Yeah.
sorry, Andy. I didn't mean to step on Andy's toes.
Andy, were you gonna say something?
I went up and inventoried blowdowns, just in preparation in case SOVTA wasn't able to do it. Took me about a day. But I haven't done any, cutting.
Okay. How extensive is it?
Oh, the major blowdowns, probably 6 of them, have them cut out in a day. I don't know what they plan to do as far as their annual maintenance goes, but if you wanted to move ahead, and it wasn't possible for them to work up there, it'd take about a day and it would be sufficient so that folks could enjoy it this winter.
So VTA, talk to us.
Hey, thanks, Vicky.
Thanks.
So I just wanted to start quickly by saying I watched the video and I saw some disappointment that we weren't in attendance, and I do apologize. We received the comments from your attorney on the 25th. It was a Tuesday. And I did try to get to you as quickly as possible, Vicky. I think I emailed you that Thursday, and you had recommended I speak to Joe. Joe and I had a good conversation, and I did inform him that, it was a little late. We wouldn't be able to be there for that meeting. But anyway, in the spirit of, just kind of continuing the project up there and getting things done, I did have a conversation with our 2 parent organizations, with you've heard the acronyms a million times, CTA and VEMBA, as well as the insurance broker. And, they were okay if, with us getting everything prepped for winter. And, thank you, Andy, for checking that out. And it's the trails in the blowdown isn't necessarily what takes so much time, but it's all the glades. Andy might have the exact acreage, but I think it's, I don't know, maybe 100 acres of glades that we have to make sure that those are all good. So, we could get in there this weekend with a team to run through all those glades and see what's going on. And the only, it's not a caveat, just in this, good faith working together here. If we could try to still work towards that landowner agreement, maybe for Jan 1, we do have the winter adventure program with the Dover school children. We have 15 kids signed up for that. As like last year, that the plan is to be on Dover properties, Horace Hill and the Dovertown Forest. So, there's just a little bit of uncomfort around that, not having that agreement. And then, just lastly, I just was kind of looking through some old notes and stuff, and I know it might have seemed like we sprung this idea of the landowner agreement. But I went back to November 12th, 2019, and I have an email that I can share. I just actually found it today. I knew it was out there. And it was from Steve Naratko to Josh Cohen, I believe, when he was the chair. And it said, Josh, please see the 2 landowner agreements below that the select board approved for you to sign. Can you sign and either scan or drop off? So, obviously that got lost in a shuffle, but I just did want to demonstrate it is something that we've kind of been under the understanding that we almost had or did have for a few years here. But, again, not to be long-winded, we're happy to get in there, get it ready for the winter so everybody can enjoy it and we can move on. If in good faith, we can, keep working. I don't know that you necessarily will have to go back to the attorney. We've pulled some other ones and I do think we can work through it. I just do want to stress that it is important. We're not making a mountain out of a molehill here. We have some responsibility so that we can keep going as an organization and keep creating some of these projects that the community and visitors do enjoy. It is important to us.
Thank you, Tommy. Any other comments?
Vicky,
Yes, Andy.
I just had one comment, normally these folks would come to the Conservation Commission and talk about the work they wanted to do for the coming year. Usually that would happen in the summer. And that's the appropriate place for them to go. I understand because you've been in negotiations with them over the agreement that, they've been coming to you and it involves other properties and so forth. And now we're late in the year. I'm guessing that if you decide that you want SOVTA to do this work this year, the Conservation Commission would be okay. I can't speak for the whole Conservation Commission, but I'm a member. I'm guessing that we could, approve retroactively, maintenance work. If you wanted them to do that this weekend. But I don't want to give the impression that normally they would be doing work in the town forest without the okay of the Conservation Commission. That's how it normally goes. And because of extenuating circumstances, I'm guessing it would be okay with the Conservation Commission if you made that decision. With the understanding that we'd have a meeting this winter. We do have things we need to talk about with SOVTA up there, some fairly pressing things for next year. And I just wanted to mention that.
Okay. Eric, you have any comments? No. Tim? Tim Shannon? Isn't he on the meeting?
I am,
I'm talking.
yeah, I think it'll be important for the select board to what Andy brought up is as we continue through the process, obviously there's a lot of important players that are making a lot of important decisions. And as we continue to clarify the landowner agreement, the processes, it would be good to review how the Conservation Commission plays into all the decisions with economic development and the select board, and just to give us a refresher on how you guys want us to proceed, because there's a lot of people involved in lots of conversations, and that'll certainly be helpful.
Vicky, yeah, thank you. Is it okay?
Yeah, go.
So anyway, yeah, Andy brings up a good point, and I thank him for that. The only thing, and again, just confusion, as Tim just said, there's a lot of different players here. I certainly was under the impression that while we did have that meeting every year with the Conservation Commission, that was for new work. In fact, there are some trails that have not been cut that I believe we okayed last year, Andy. However, the ongoing maintenance I thought that was something we didn't necessarily need to ask permission for. It was our job. But you know, Andy would certainly know better than I, and that's just, again, that's just clarification and communication and, you know, the way that I understood it. But I would say, you know, we would, if the select board wanted us to move forward and, the conservation commission, looking at the weather we have, certainly would, I think if we don't get in there this weekend, you know, it's going to be tough, but we can get it done. And, you know, we've made phone calls to get some volunteers out there and have them spread out, walk through all of the glades, and then come back, let us know what's down, take some pictures, and, we could get that done.
Andy,
Yeah, so the Conservation Commission administers the town forest. Basically, we look at projects whenever a SOVTA comes to us, does it fit the town forest plan, and bring up whatever concerns we might have, which are typically addressed in that yearly meeting, including the maintenance. One thing that we ask every year is that the maintenance be done prior to September. The top of Rice Hill, when we had hired a forester to do the timber part of the forest plan, he identified a bear scar beech stand up here, which he said was one of the best in southern Vermont. And beech stands produce beech nuts, which is a mast crop, which bears, moose, and deer rely on to fatten up for the winter. And these guys typically use power equipment. So when those beech nuts get ripe, we just assume the power equipment wasn't there. So we've asked them usually every year to get their work done prior to September. That has not worked out. And we more or less turn a blind eye to it. They're volunteers. They're doing a great job. It's difficult to make things happen on a volunteer level, and I get that. But there are caveats. There are conditions on the maintenance work, and we like to be able to address that every year. You know, not that we're going to hold your toes to the fire on that at this point, but just so you know, those are the kinds of things we're interested in. The other things would have to do with signage and the maps. We have had a number of people get lost up there, local people. Search and rescue got called out a couple of weeks ago. We went up for a lost local guy, and we need to talk about those things. But what you're talking about is some very basic maintenance to the trails and glades that currently exist. I'm guessing the Conservation Commission is going to be just fine with that, if that's the decision of the select board. And then we can have our meeting this winter and talk through all this stuff. It is the Conservation Commission who does administer the property, and always has. That's their job. They were voted by the people at town meeting to create a Conservation Commission to do that. But, you know, we can talk about all that for sure. Thank you.
Tim?
Yeah, thank you. I'd like to address, you know, Andy's right. We do have these conversations about how to safely and appropriately maintain our recreation areas, especially to ensure that each of our user groups has appropriate access. And that includes hunting season. And that's a time that we don't want to be doing work in there, because there are plenty of residents that do access that land for hunting season. And we want to make sure that that land is accessible and active for them and enjoy, like a pleasure to be in. And that we're not out there working both for our safety and for their enjoyment. The second thing is that in our current conversations with the lawyer and our contract with our landowner agreement, all of our notification clauses that we've placed in there are between SOVTA and the select board, and they don't include the Conservation Commission. And while I know that based on our town charter for the Conservation Commission, that they do manage that land and what's approved to make recommendations towards that select board, I do think it'd be important for the select board to recognize where that charter exists in review, oversight, and approvals as we go forward. I think it's another element of confusion that we're now, I think we have to question on where we're at and just get that clarity. But I also want to make sure we stick to the mission right tonight is that if we don't get approval to go in and do the work to open those glades, we're strapped for time before people will try to recreate, and that's not a safe thing. And we want to make sure that that area is covered and enjoyable for all those that want to recreate in the Dovertown forest this winter.
Thank you. And I would agree that we need to figure this whole thing out. Obviously, we're having growing pains, and we need to know where the Conservation Commission, the Select Board, and trail groups intersect, and how that all so it's clear. And so maybe this winter, when you have your Conservation Committee meeting, you could at least have one representative of the Select Board attend, so that they understand, so that all the players are in the room at the same time. Do you think that would be something, Andy? Because again, I'm confused by all of this as well. And so I think it is important for us to get it clearly understood when the Conservation Commission makes decisions. And then, if there's complaints, they're not going to come to you guys, they're going to come to people are going to come to the Select Board. So we have a part in it as well. And obviously, groups like SOVTA have a big part of it. So I think we all need to understand where everybody sits in this thing.
Sure, Vicky, that's a great idea. We can absolutely do that. Just very briefly, a Conservation Commission is a public body, and you can think about it's not the same, but you can think of it as other public bodies that are created by the people under a statute, like the Development Review Board or the Planning Commission. They have specific powers that they're given by law. And when the people vote to create that, they give those powers to, basically you guys don't hear applications in front of the Development Review Board, and that's the province of the Development Review Board. And conservation lands in the town of Dover are under the Conservation Commission's administration. Now, having said that, you have a role, absolutely. We wrote the town forest plan, you approved it. There's a give and take there. And I think probably we should hammer out some guidelines for how SOVTA goes about getting permission to do whatever they want to do up there. And we can do that this winter, not a problem.
Tim, do you have another question or comment?
No, I'm bad at Zoom and I forgot to put my hand down.
Okay, that's fine. Any board members want to weigh in at this point? Sarah?
I'm happy to work with Andy to be a liaison with Conservation Commission.
Okay. Who else is on the Conservation Commission besides you and Chris Katie? Andy,
Seth Powers.
who doesn't live in town anymore?
Yes, that's an issue. We're gonna
Okay. We
be
need to
looking
resolve
for you
that.
we will.
Okay,
Yeah, for now, last year he didn't attend the meeting. I asked him not to, and we're going to be replacing him, but yeah, it's an issue.
okay. Okay, so does the board, Scott?
I just wanted to say that I hope hopefully we'll get some people out there and working on this as soon as possible and appreciate everything. If people are already getting lost out there, I know they have a lot of blazes that SOVTA has put out there and maps. I can't imagine what it would look like if they weren't able to check and put those up. And if people are already getting lost, let's get them out there and fix this up.
My concern then is this weekend, it's hunting season. So that is exactly what we want to avoid. And we're right in the middle of hunting season. So comments about that? Anybody? Andy?
So I don't think hunting season's anything to be afraid of out there. You may run into hunters. You may inconvenience a hunter. Not a lot of people hunt out there, surprisingly enough. What you should do is dress in hunter orange if you choose to go out there. One very fortunate thing is the beech nut crop this year is virtually non-existent. So you're not bothering the bears. And, you know, it's odd, every time we bring up the beech nut crop, Southern Vermont Trails Association assumes that we don't want people interfering with hunters. That's not our concern at all. The beech nut crop is a big deal. When there is no beech nut crop, it's a huge problem for our larger mammals. But hunting season, as far as I'm concerned, it won't be a problem. Not a lot of people up there wear orange for sure. And if you don't feel safe up there, wait until after hunting season.
Well, there's hunting season that ends the Sunday after Thanksgiving, and then it comes back in muzzleloader season the next week. And there's a week off, and then it comes back. What does the board want to do? Do we want to authorize SOVTA to do some maintenance work on the existing trails?
Yes. I move that we authorize Southern Vermont Trails to work on this as soon as they see fit.
And I would.
Second.
I would, under discussion, I would say, as long as it's maintenance and not any new work being done, so that there isn't, that should make it, so
I
the
think
Conservation Commission doesn't have to have a conversation, because they're just basically taking care of pre-existing trails and glades.
I think they'll have time to do anything but maintenance.
Right, well, I just want to
Yes.
put that on.
So your motion was for maintenance,
Maintenance, yes.
and Joe seconded it. Any other comment?
Dan,
Yeah.
Dan is on here. Notice.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Nice.
He came in a few minutes ago, right?
Who's iPhone?
I don't know. Hold on a second. Let's finish this up.
Yeah.
Okay. So we have a motion and a second. Any other comments from anybody? Yes.
So you're authorizing them to do the trail maintenance, is that in lieu of not having a landowner permission? And is this discussion gonna continue for the landowner permission?
We are not at an agreement for the landowner agreement, which is a 5-year agreement. In the meantime, we're trying to figure out how to get the trails safely open for the winter. So I guess at this point, yes, this is, we are not giving them ability to do a lot.
Interim agreement.
Yeah, this is just to get things ready for the winter. Yes,
And are they okay with that, with children coming in and their program?
that's what they've asked for. Am I wrong, Tommy?
You're not incorrect. However, one of the parts of my open statement was that we would get this done and we would continue. I listened very carefully and went back. I understand some of the hard lines that you have and the desire to not spend any more money. That being said, I think we can still find an agreement. There's been many forms of it. The one that was supposedly agreed upon in 2019, but I would ask in the spirit of good faith and partnership that we would try to have something that is agreeable to you and to us. Hopefully by the new year, when we will have the children coming in, and it's a fairly big liability for us. So I would just like to keep working towards that if that's agreeable to you and the board.
I'm not sure that timeline's gonna work, because 1, I don't think the Conservation Commission is gonna meet before then. And 2, I'm confused about the liability, because I thought we had insurance on all of our properties. So I'm confused by that. So I'm not sure I can agree necessarily to that. I'm not disagreeing, but some things are conflicting there in my mind.
Yep. And
Sure,
Vicky,
Chairwoman.
Hold
My-
on.
Morning.
Yeah, so I was talking, so Tom, come back at me.
So, and I'm not an insurance expert. I mean, this is a volunteer position that I hold here. And maybe this is something we need to explore, because it could be just something that's not clear. My understanding, okay, which could be completely incorrect, is of course you have insurance on your properties, and the insurance that we are able to provide through our organizations that is the insurance that protects the volunteers, any maintenance as well as users. So that then if the town was sued, you're able to push that down on us and our parent organizations, because as trail stewards, we have special insurance for that. Just like a ski mountain has special insurance. But again, maybe this is something, we need to drill down a little bit further. You could ask your insurance broker, because I don't want to be talking, in absolutes here if I'm not sure. But from all the work and due diligence that I have done, that, we, the town is listed as a named insured under our policies, so that for those, those instances I just spoke about, the maintenance and the usage would then fall on us and not the town if somebody was hurt.
So as I said, I think that we need to understand better that whole situation, but I'm just not sure that we will have this agreement in place before the end of the year. And I don't want to make promises that we can't keep. Tim?
Yeah, so Chairwoman, I just wanted to say, with the motion, I believe that the motion that you're approving tonight is for us to do the maintenance, which is critical for us to make any move forward for those zones to be open this winter and safe to operate. And I'd recommend that motion be approved. The second piece is that the children's program, we have support and backing. We know the community loves that we do stuff for the children. But if needed, I would ask that you guys ask us do we need to come back to request to run the children's program on the land? And if that's the case, we'll make sure that we put that on an upcoming select board meeting. The third piece with the insurance is that it also covers us because SOVTA, with the approval of the town, designed and implemented the zones, the backcountry zones that are there. So, if somebody does get hurt while they're out there, our organization could currently be liable in a suit. But we could be brought up and brought forth in a suit because we created those zones and created that effort. So in the event that we weren't in some kind of agreement, SOVTA would back away from this property and take our names off to make sure that we weren't liable in a suit, right? And we don't want to do that. That's not what we're asking, but that's part of the reason why we're asking for permission to keep going. We've got signage out there with our names, and we have implemented those zones for the town. So that's where we're looking for that support.
Okay, anybody else? Any further comments? Because we do have a motion and a second. Anybody? Andy?
I hate to do this, but as far as children's programs on the property, I feel very comfortable. I've talked with our loss control specialist at VLCT over the course of many years about trails building, trails maintenance, who does the work, who can get sued. I'm very comfortable that agreement, no agreement, whatever, we're covered, we're safe. And the loss control specialist is also comfortable with everything we've done. And if we were to do work, if I do work, it's all good. What I haven't talked with him about is children's programs. Just occurred to me. If you were thinking of making an amendment to your motion, I'd want to talk to him first. I don't know if people need background checks. Children's a whole different issue. And I just wanted you to know that I haven't looked into that at all.
Okay, so we have at this point not done anything with the children's programs. We're strictly looking at weekend maintenance of existing trails. So that's what the motion's about. So I guess at this point, SOVTA, since there appears to be a question about the children's programs, I think that you need to circle back and get back with us concerning the insurance issues on that. So this just gets more confusing the more we talk. So and more convoluted too. So I think that if we can just vote on this motion to get some work done at this point, and that's where it's going to land tonight. That's all we're approving tonight.
Right now, we're just
That's
talking
all.
about maintenance and do we need to have, well, let's finish this thing and then we can talk about, right?
I don't, at this point, where there's questions, so we can't even talk about it, so we need to check.
Well, that's what I was gonna bring up, was what question. we needed to
Okay.
answer.
So, anything else? All in favor of the motion to allow SOVTA to do maintenance on existing trails in the Dovertown Forest for this upcoming winter season?
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
So
Okay,
should somebody reach
All right.
out to the LCT?
I'm guessing that somebody is gonna reach out to VLCT. Is that gonna be you, Andy?
I can, sure, if
Okay,
you like, yep.
okay. Sarah,
Would it be useful to have some sort of a written outline of what these programs are gonna entail before you call the LCT? So that the questions can be answered pretty specifically?
I think I know enough to give a phone call. I may need to reach out to SOVTA if it gets, typically, Wade you'll talk to Wade, he'll say, okay, so, you're gonna go out in the woods and cut some trails, use a chainsaw, all right, employees, whatever. And, a lot of times it's a very brief conversation and he says, you're good to go. So I might call him up and say, hey, this local group affiliated with, statewide chapters, adults are present, children will be there. Is that okay? And then he'll get some questions to me if he needs to, which I can bring to SOVTA. I think I'm good for the first call.
okay.
Do this expeditiously as possible.
And thank you for SOVTA for wanting to continue to do trail maintenance. We do appreciate it.
Yes, thank you.
And thank you.
Thank you.
Right.
Can I just add one piece? Andy, if you're going to request that for the town with that information, as a camp manager at Mount Snow, formerly for 8 years, I'd like to clarify that the program is a program that's being run by an organization on requesting to do it on town land. So the town has no responsibility for the program. It's just that we're asking to use, cross through that property as we implement our programming.
All right, are we good on this? Again, trails is taking the longest thing in the whole meeting. It's becoming the overarching thing on almost every single agenda item on every single meeting, and we need to figure out how it cannot, because we have a lot of other serious business to do at a lot of meetings. All right, moving on to new business. Next on, consider the application for municipal planning grant for the Planning Commission. So this afternoon. Yeah, well, I don't want, I have it here too. So I had a question about this because all we got were the signature pages from this. I don't know anything more really about this, but where's the fiscal responsibility piece? Because this says basically the town into the agreement and including the grant program, including a commitment to match funds. I have no idea what kind of number that is.
About 40,000, no, just kidding. It's, the grant is for $25,000 to go towards, the town plan. And the town would have to match, 10%.
$4,000.
No,
So, 40,000.
25,000.
Wait, give me the numbers again. I'm sorry, I heard it different.
25,000.
25,000. Okay, then I
And
get.
then 10 and 10% of that is the match.
Did we get this?
So
whole
this
thing?
is,
I got this.
I didn't. I got this in the and then this is all I got. So I didn't see the whole grant.
so this is just a resolution letter.
Hold on.
This isn't for the application, so we have to have this letter signed by you guys and the planning commission before we can even move forward to submit an application. So we actually have, Tabby and Patrick spoke to the Wyndham Region Commission. And, Tabby, would you like to, talk a little bit about what is next, please?
Okay, so this authorizes the planning commission to produce an application.
is the signature pages that you have here. The application cannot be submitted without these
That's what
signature
Becky just
pages.
said, yes.
So we have and have gone through, we have the sample of a summary and narrative, we have a sample application. Wyndham Regional will work with us to prepare the application. We will have them in as the grant administrator, and they will handle all of the mechanics and all of the administration of putting it into the gear system, of doing all of that manipulation. We will be reimbursed for up to 25,000. It might even be 26,400 as of the conversation that we had this morning is the maximum amount that we would get for all of the work to get this plan fully vetted out, brought before the select board, voted on the entire process. Our current plan times out in May of 2024. So we need to have our new plan ready by then. This is a fiscal 2023 grant, and we do have a sample budget breakdown of hours from Wyndham Regional on how long it will take or what pieces, and that can be refined, but we do have some structure. We've been doing a lot of discussing of reviewing the existing plan and already making comments and thoughts and edits on the plan, so we're ahead of the game, but now we need Wyndham Regional to really do the mechanics of this. I have no idea how this was done 8 years ago, well, 7 years ago. But we have nobody on the planning commission who has any history of this. Everybody is new with the exception of Sarah as a general public person, which I am. You may
I'm not on
remember.
our commission, right?
No, but you, I don't know if you remember.
I wasn't part of the last one.
Mhm, okay, so that's our only source of what happened last.
So when would this grant be, grant, you know, if you put an application, what is the timeline?
Application is due December 1st.
Mhm.
The grant distribution award is announced sometime in
I think
January.
it's a January 22nd.
Then, yeah, sometime in January, maybe the 22nd. So we'll find out fairly quickly if we are awarded the grant. Either way, this structure gives us a really good basis to go on what we need and how we need to go about continuing and completing the updated plan. So it's a great basic framework for us to work with, and if we can get Wyndham Regional's time paid for, that's even better.
I'm just, I don't know where in the budget this money is gonna come from, because I'm not sure that we have any money budgeted for even $2,500. Not saying that that is a breaker, but I'm not sure where this would have been targeted in any budget number we have. Can you think of anything, Jeanette?
So this would come out of the budget of 2023 and not 22.
We're in the budget year 22-23. That's the budget year we're in. It starts July 1st. This is the 23 budget year.
What about the zoning administration budget?
I don't have anything in my budget for this.
Right.
But if, I'm working on my numbers now, if we put that in, I do know that some towns, and talking to Wyndham Regional, so where are they getting their matching funds from? Some are coming from economic development, which is a conversation that we have to have with Eric to see if anything is there, the 1% funds. Some have planning commission budgets. At the meeting yesterday, we went through the past couple of years and what was a planning commission budget several years ago. I guess it was a leftover $1,500 went down to $500 because there was no planning commission. So how we go about.
I mean, it's not a breaker, but it's a year when we have a lot of expenditures that are unplanned, and it's gonna be a very stark end of the year, I think, for the town. So I'm definitely in favor of this. This is one of those things. If we'd had until recently an active planning commission, maybe there would have been a better plan going forward. Granted, this is a good opportunity to get a lot of resources for very little investment, and I completely get it. It's just, I'm very worried about the end of the year budget. Yes, Sarah.
In your conversations with, the rep from, Wyndham Regional, did they think we needed to apply for the full, 25,000 is the max?
That's the maximum.
Do they believe we need that? I mean, because we're doing a 10% match, so if they say we only need $10,000, then we only need we're only taking that.
Well, I have a breakout of what their hours and sort of what the plan is. Their suggestion in the conversation that we had this morning was go for the max because you might not be granted the entire amount. Better to go high and then not use it or
Right.
whatever.
It's better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it.
Right.
Right.
Now, I believe in the conversation, once this grant is. Let's say it's approved and we are granted the grant. I believe the first round is 40% distribution and then like a 30 and 30, that type of thing. So we may get funding.
So make sure as you move forward with your budget in your department, we add some money in because it may hit in the next fiscal year. And so we should add some money in. So as you put your numbers together, you should do that.
I'll put something in for here, and there is, and I am not really sure how this works. But in one of the conversations, I heard something about getting that 10% match back, but I can't swear to any of that because that was in one of about 5 conversations, and I want to double check on that, but there is that. Possibility, that thought, but I don't know how accurate that is. But they're really willing to work with us, and the initial application process, it's my understanding that they're not charging us for all of this prep work. That they'll be doing with us to get that. They will start charging once
They're actually.
the program is going.
So they encourage us to get involved in grants. Because that's how they fund themselves and that's how they keep themselves working. We're doing an awful lot of work with Wyndham Regional right now. And that they are a valuable resource, obviously, but that's also, they encourage municipalities to go after these because it pays their salaries.
Yep.
So I'm just, it's kind of a,
Agreed, but I
So.
think we still need certainly their knowledge and expertise because. We
Yes.
have to get the plan in on time, whether we wind up doing it ourselves with input from them, or if we do the full blown. Production, either way, we still have that deadline where it must be in. So.
okay. So the whole board is, if we approve this, should sign on this.
That's correct on page.
I'm
2.
seeing this, yes. So, any comments from the board?
This point, no.
Any comments from public?
I had one. I think I stuck my hand up. This is Pete MacDonald.
Hi, Peter.
So if my hand's not up, I apologize. If my hand's up, I'll figure out how to take it down. All we're doing is asking for permission to apply. The
Right.
control of the money and the expenditure starts with the planning commission. So we're not looking to go out and spend $26,000. We're looking to just apply for this grant. If we don't get it, we're gonna have to go to Plan B. If we do get it, that doesn't mean we spend it and doesn't mean we have to match it if the money's not there. So all we're looking to do right now is bump up against the time frame of December 1st and get this application in.
No, I think it's a relevant thing to do, and it will certainly offer resources. It's just, this is another unplanned potential cost. Not that it
Exactly.
necessarily will be full 2,500, or if it even falls in this fiscal year, but know that going, because we get a little planning commission budget, so, and.
Yeah,
are
we
you-
missed it.
Sorry,
I said we missed putting our budget in, and for sure, next year we'll have a budget.
right, so our budgeting process is starting right now.
Never-
Becky, are you the chair now?
Acting today. She's vice chair.
So what is the reorganization of the planning commission and when's that happening?
We're gonna figure that out next meeting, I guess.
Okay, all right, I just was curious.
Only because I'm not available, the month is on the room during the day.
And now we have Peter as a full member, so now we have a full board, so now we can.
That's great, that's an awesome thing. All right, does somebody want to make a motion?
To make a motion that the select board signs the municipal resolution for municipal planning grant letter of support.
Second.
So I can,
Anything else? All in favor? Aye.
aye.
Is the meeting on the 26th? 6:30. 6:30.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And it's here and Zoom.
So they've asked you to print your name and sign your name on that. All right.
Thank you.
All right, we're moving on to economic development, and we have just one thing. We have the Bytown marketing budget request. So I know Eric's here and Tim is here as well.
Hey guys, thanks for having us. I would like to once again introduce our marketing director, Tim Dolan, who will be talking to you about this year's upcoming budget.
Thanks, Eric, and thank you, Select Board, for having me again. So last time I was here a couple weeks ago, we talked about everything that we were able to accomplish this past year. So now here we are tonight to ask for your support in helping us do this again next year and continue building off the momentum that we started with this year's campaign. So real quickly, our marketing plans for next year, would again just be to build off that momentum and continue the Vermont How You Want campaign, but kind of look at where we're spending the money within the ad buy category and just reallocate some of it based on the results that we've seen. So spending less in programmatic display, but adding more into TikTok, where we saw some really good results in the test run that we did. And also, possibly adding the family into the TikTok world. Also want to do some testing in programmatic video, which was in the 5-year plan, and also a recommendation from 550, who did a media buy for us this year. SEM, which is the Google Ads campaign, we would continue that exactly as we did this year, as that worked really well. And we also want to look at the potential of hiring some influencers, people that have really large social media followings or, really successful blogs that, would be able to take a trip here and talk about us organically to all their followers. Couple other things, we just want to get our campaigns going a little bit earlier this year. Last year we started in around mid-May, and this year we're looking to get going in early April. Not spend a ton of money there, but just get the campaigns up and running. And when people are starting to think about the warmer weather and what they're going to be doing on their summer vacation. And then the other thing is just looking to add in some of our geographic areas, looking to test out maybe the Philadelphia and New Jersey market and just see if we can expand our reach a little bit further than what we've been doing this year. Website wise, we just want to continue building that out and making it, a really great place for people to land on when they come from our ads. We've got about 18 months now worth of content from our content creators. So just adding more of that photo and video in to showcase, the beauty of Southern Vermont, and just doing some other things like, first time or itineraries for first time visitors, and maybe adding in some wedding destination content, working with the chamber there and some of the sites to, make us a wedding destination. Content creation would be similar to this year, just without that big state grant that we were able to receive. So this would allow us to kind of look at what we've received in that 18 months of content creation so far, and what we have for photo and video, and just kind of start filling holes and making sure that we've got everything we need to continue with our ad campaigns going forward. Social media has been going really well. Had a big boost in organic followers there. So I just want to continue with that. And also look at, because we had such great success in TikTok with the advertising, potentially looking at opening our own TikTok channel so we can talk to everyone that's, starting to follow us on TikTok, on a regular basis. Email marketing is another piece of the 5-year plan that we want to implement this year. Again, we're getting a ton of great traffic to the website. So now the next step is to, have somewhere where people can give us their email address and we can start talking to them through email and target them even more than we already have. Be able to capture those people that we are getting onto the website and just be able to continue pushing, the Southern Vermont brand and visiting here to them. And then the last piece, that we want to implement of the 5-year plan this year is just, continuing to make, everybody here, all our residents, all our workers, brand ambassadors for Southern Vermont Deerfield Valley. And, especially our frontline staff who are talking with these visitors all the time, make sure that they're excited about everything that there is to do here in the Valley. Everyone moves here for different reasons and has different interests, so they don't always know about everything that there is to do. So we just want to, continue to spread that word so that those people can help us, be really, strong brand ambassadors. And we think, creating a hype video that businesses could share with new employees or even existing employees, that'll just give them, some of the top highlights of when people say, what should I do today on this rainy day? They're going to have answers for them and be able to get them pointed in the right direction so that they have a great experience once we do get them here. So that's kind of what we're planning on doing. And so to accomplish all those goals, we put together a budget. There's, 3 lines here. One, which is the actual budget of what we want to spend this year. And this budget for this year would go from January 1st to December 31st. Last year, we came to you guys a little bit later, not until February, early March. So our budget was from April 1st to March 31st. So that means that we do still have January, February, March already approved from last year and able to roll in. So that's where the second category comes in, as well as, areas where we saved a little bit of money and just didn't necessarily spend it all. So we already have that money from the towns from last year that we could add to this year's budget to help us accomplish our goals. So the last one is what the actual ask is, what we need from the 2 towns tonight in order to move forward with the proposed budget for next year. So the total budget that we're trying to accomplish is $169,525. And the carryover from this year is $25,219, meaning that we need an additional $144,306 from the 2 towns combined. So per town, that's $72,153 that we would be asking for you guys to support us with tonight. And I am happy to announce that, just got off the call with Wilmington shortly ago, and they did approve that same amount, $72,153. So that's what I have for you guys. Do you have any questions for me or anything that I can elaborate on?
Eric?
Oh, hey, sorry.
Yo.
I didn't know you cut out like right at the second there. So we were hoping to have some Dover businesses in the building tonight to stand up for this cause, or at least on the Zoom call. Unfortunately, we didn't get any of them to join us. However, anecdotally, tons of communication with those businesses who have seen that drive in the traffic this summer. I think that the things that we're doing are working. You can look at the data that Tim shared with us at the last meeting. I mean, it's showing that we're driving the traffic to the website, and I think that we're starting to see that turn into actual people in the Valley, and you see that in the numbers, again, anecdotally from our businesses. And I think you'll also see that reflected in the quarterly numbers when we get those back from the state in terms of tax money. So, obviously Shannon, myself, our department are very much in support of continuing with our efforts to market Dover and the Valley.
Anybody have any questions, comments? I'm thrilled that Wilmington passed this. I'm thrilled. And with that, I would also support this.
Tom too.
Yes. Tom too. So unanimous? All right.
Yes, that was unanimous.
I make a motion that we approve the Bytown marketing budget request of $72,153.
Second.
All right. Any other comments? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank
Aye.
you. Thank you for your hard work.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. All right, now we're gonna move on to the consent agenda. We're gonna approve the minutes of November 1st, 2022.
I make a motion that we approve the minutes of November 1st, 2022.
Second.
Any comments, changes, suggestions? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
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 I make a motion that we approve the warrants of November 12th, 2022 for $314,782.02.
Second.
Any questions? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Oh,
You can't vote.
You can't, you haven't looked at the warrants.
and no, haven't seen. I think.
Yes, so the three of us looked at them.
Yeah.
You can sign.
Next FYI, any FYIs? I see none.
Yeah, there was a letter from. Okay, just some stuff, thanking you for their.
So you said we park, there's no pay, we don't have to pay to park? You got this all figured out.
What?
Well, we have to walk an hour to get there?
No, Joe, you're.
Mute, Joe. Okay, it's a.
Sorry.
It's okay. Thank you for the $1,400 donation that the town's people of voters appropriated on town meeting day with the SOVTA.
And I would like to, say I attended the Stump Jumpers dinner last weekend. It was very nice. It was really well done. I think a lot of people had a really good time and I appreciated it.
Great. Good. Liaison reports?
Hairy face over there.
No.
No. We're gonna go into executive session for personnel for both the police department and the highway department. And I guess the police department's up first. Thank you, Travis, for being so accommodating. Yeah.